Right there.
Hello, welcome everyone to Bold Brave Women Conversation. I am so excited to be here with you today. My name is May Vu Coach, and I am broadcasting at the moment from Utah. My cross country road trip from California to Maine in the United States is bringing me to Utah, and I'm sitting at a lovely friend's home and I got a shower, so my hair looks good. It's all good today. And I have with me a very bold and brave woman whom I met a long time ago in Dubai. Her name is Heba. Heba, I'm gonna let you say your last name because I'm gonna try it and then you correct me. Heba Khairy el Sherif.
Khayr. Yes,
How do you
Khayri
say
is
it?
my father. Yeah, Khayri with a Khayri. I don't know if you can pronounce the kha. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Heba Khairy
Khayri.
el Sherif. How
Yeah, oh,
beautiful.
you're
What a
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
The kha is
Yeah.
common because I actually have my name is actually my Koivu, but because most American can't say the koi part, the part, I put it away. I said, okay, I already lost my country a long time ago. I'm not losing my name too. So I have been known as May since then. Anyway,
Oh, interesting.
yes. And I I've known Heba. I forget how many years now, huh? More than 10? More
Yeah,
than 10 years.
2010 perhaps. Yeah, around
Yeah,
11 years.
and we met at a very glamorous, mysterious place called Dubai. And we fell in love and we stay connected via Facebook all these years. And I just thought, since I was doing Bold Brave Woman, I was checking in with her, see how she was doing, and I thought you would be perfect to come and share with us what's it like being an Egyptian woman living in Egypt, um, bringing in self awareness and wanting to do life coaching, making a difference in the world. And there's the culture and the economic in the world, all that stuff. So much to say. So I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna let you take over. What's life like for you, honey? Or tell us a little bit about who you are, what's life like in Egypt for you?
Okay. Well, that's actually very interesting because I just came back to Egypt after 10 years in Dubai. So I'm experiencing it in a very different way. So I've been born and raised here, and I lived in Egypt until I was around 20, yeah, around my mid 20s, 25, 26, and then I moved to Dubai
Mm-hmm.
for 10 years, and I just came back this year, last year actually. So it's very different now. Well, if we're gonna just give a general view about being a woman in Egypt, to be honest, for me, it was fine. Like most of my life, Egypt is not like too strict or too liberal. Like it's a country that has like a nice middle ground. Um, so women here, they have a lot of freedom. They buy properties, they work, they do everything. They swim, they exercise. They live their lives normally, like anywhere else in the world. Um, and of course there are differences between like different families. The way they raise their kids there could be a bit different from one family to the other one. I would say I was pretty lucky. My parents
Mm-hmm.
were open-minded, and my dad used to live in the United Arab Emirates since the 1995, I think. So he lived there for around 23 years.
Mm.
um, and even when he used to live here, he was a very understanding father, and my mom as well. So generally speaking, it was fine living here. Most of my childhood, I was playing sports, school, going out with my friends, just a very normal life, I would say. The stage where
And so what about dating as a young person?
of which age that makes a difference, like now or like when I
Okay,
was
start
younger.
from let's start from when you were younger. So dating, what was dating like as a teenager for you in Egypt?
All right. So usually people here do not put it under the umbrella of dating. Some people do date, obviously. Like I wouldn't be speaking for everybody, you know. There are
Mm-hmm.
almost 50 million women in Egypt. So people have very different lives. Some people they date and they have, you know, a relationship. For most Egyptian women, it's just going out for coffee or having, you know, lunch or something, not nothing more. Um, Most Egyptians in general, like whether they're Muslims or Christians, are quite conservative. So they usually, and I would say 90% of the cases, if not 95%, they do not live together before marriage. So this is what dating looks like. They go out for a cup of coffee. They go out for dinner or something, and usually people meet
Mm-hmm.
through, let's say, friends, someone that in your university colleague or someone from work or a friend from here or there, and then they get to know each other. And if things are looking good, they would get engaged and then married and so on. So that's how it usually works here. So yeah, so that's regardless of
And so,
yeah.
and how does it work for you?
For me, it's interesting. Well, I wasn't really like when I was younger, I was even more conservative, I would say. Like I knew I had a lot of friends who were guys, like because I used to I used to do karate when I
Oh,
was,
okay.
and most of the team were guys, and I think I started doing karate when I was around 10 or 9 years old until I was perhaps
Mm-hmm.
13, 14, until the black belt, but it became me like too serious after that. So I thought I want to be a woman and left. But um yeah, so I had a lot of friends like from, you know, from the club, they call it a sporting club here, like
From
people
childhood,
meet
yeah.
up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so it yeah, but I didn't actually have like this whole boyfriend girlfriend thing. I had so many nice people in my life. I liked some people, of course, but it wasn't really how, like, for my family, it wasn't that fine. Like you might like someone or it's fine, but it's not like an official boyfriend. I wouldn't tell my dad, "Oh, that's my boyfriend." Like that would be a big deal. So it wasn't something that was culturally acceptable somehow. And but it's fine that if you know the person in a different way as a friend or whatever, it's acceptable. So it wouldn't be put in a like with a title or something, I would say. But for some people, they're totally like fine with this. They have, this is my boyfriend or girlfriend, but that's it. That the shape of the relationship that I told you about is the
Yeah,
most common here. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, that's how it was.
Mm-hmm. And then, so what's it? I is, are you comfortable sharing how old you are and what's life like in your as what?
In my country. Okay, I'm 36. I'm fine with sharing my age. That's fine. How life is like in general. Well, to be honest, I must say that I was pretty like I wouldn't say I was just like very lucky, like, and I would just be an exception for the cycle I live in. But a lot of for my community were girls who are from kind of the similar backgrounds, girls who are educated and stuff like that. They have
Mm-hmm.
a pretty simple and interesting life. They're usually, if I would just tell you how I get it, like just an example of a week or something. I just go to work. I have some time with family. I go out with my friends. Um, I exercise sometimes. I just live a very, very normal life like anyone else. I have my hobbies. I like to read.
And
Um,
what pressure is put on you? I know in the States, if you're
yeah,
36, you would feel really pressure to be married and have a child or have your families done by now.
yeah.
What's it like for you?
Well, it's pretty interesting. Like here in Egypt, like most, I would say, in ladies, they have the idea that they should get married in their 20s, and that's the kind of the default when it comes to the generation of my mother, for example. Like most women got married at that age, and some of my friends as well. Though for our generation, because a lot of the ladies, they used to travel on their own and work and do stuff, so it's not exactly like you would find a lot of ladies in their 30s and they're single. So it's not that because it doesn't have to be because they don't want to settle down or something like that, but it became more like because their lives or their lifestyle was a bit different. Like I remember when I was speaking to my parents, like in their generation, most people, they got married to people they knew through family or friends, or because most people used to live here in Egypt. The economic condition was much better at that time, so so people used to have a lot of connections and stuff like that. But after my generation, for example, I have a I have a cousin in Australia and two in America and my sister in Canada and a brother in Germany, and so people, they just traveled all over the world, and it became a bit different because you change communities all the time. you know um you don't, like, the people that you are around, they don't necessarily stay in your life forever. So it's pretty interesting. So yeah.
And how is COVID? How is Egypt doing with COVID?
Okay, well, that's actually an interesting question. People are a bit more chilled here than any other place in the world, I would say. There was Some of them are careful; they wear their masks and stuff like that, and some of them are like, "Oh, you know what? Just
It's a
so
conspiracy.
be
It doesn't exist.
it." Yeah. So there was a certain time where we had to go home at around 5 p.m. That was the maximum restriction that we had. Um, but now people are just living their lives normally. There are some places that they don't allow people to go there without their masks, like the malls and stuff. But generally speaking, I would say life is kind of back to normal somehow.
Fascinating. Wow.
Some,
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so there's no major death rates and high death and all that stuff.
there are, but
Oh,
because we are 100 million people, so the numbers,
you can lose
they
a
don't
few
like.
million.
No, of course, I'm not saying that. No,
Well, that's kind of like how it was in the
oh
States. I mean,
no.
we had so many people. It's like, under the previous administration, we can lose a few 100,000. That's all right.
No, no, of course not. I think the only thing that makes us quite careful is that our parents are above 60, so they are high risk. But other
Yeah.
than this, Egyptians generally, as their culture is quite chilled. Like if they have problems, they laugh at themselves. They have the greatest sense of humor. They always come up with greatest jokes. So the thing is,
Wow.
so it's just like, so be it. Corona, corona, khalas. What can we do about
Inshallah,
it?
as they say.
Yeah.
In God's hand. All
Yeah.
right, so now let's talk about you. So what happened? Some of the bold and brave moves that you have done as a woman across the world from me.
Okay. Well, I think the what comes to my mind when I get asked this question most of the time is the career shift, of course. Like that would be the first step. Um, and I am a pharmacist, so I graduated from pharmacy school with a good grade, like a degree with honor and stuff. And
Mm,
then I figured out that my heart is not in it. I was always like the obedient child who does the right thing and says the right thing. Like, and there was a certain point where I just got the grades because I study, because I have to study. I
mhm,
got used to getting a good grade because I don't want to fail. That's all. So the thing is, when I decided what I wanted to do with my life, I was 15. So because you
mm,
have to decide when you're in high school. Um, and I wanted to study something that's related to the medical field because I wanted to take care of people. I think that was my
mm,
motive. And then after this, I graduated from pharmacy school after 5 years, and I
mm,
started working. But I felt that there is, I don't know how to explain that, but there is no emotional connection with the
Your
job. I
heart
can
was
do it.
not in it.
Yeah, I can do the job well. So,
Yeah.
but it's like fine,
You would have to become a robotic at it rather than it's your life's work.
Yeah, exactly.
And
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 yeah,
is that common? Like in my culture, my culture is based as a Vietnamese person, and in my culture, doing things because your passion or that's your expression. When I was growing up 2 3 decades ago, that doesn't matter. I mean, my mom would look at me. I mean, even now she'd be like, so what does that matter? It's a good
yeah.
job, you make good money, get to work, instead of, Mom, I'm gonna quit engineering school. That's what I did. I quit engineering school because I'm not happy. She'd be like blown her mind.
There must be some fumes going out of her head, I can
There's
imagine.
no film. I mean, it's been 25 years, and well, every time she thinks that, oh yeah, she once was an engineer, you can see her melting. Why did you give
I
that up and
know.
be a life coach, or whatever coach you are at? Who cares that you have served so many people in the world? Yeah, well, she actually is starting to see the impact that I've done. So she's much better now, but she's 83.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah, so what's
Yeah.
like for you to say, I'm not going to become a
Yeah.
pharmacist anymore. My heart's not in it.
I know. I actually had to fight for around 2 or 3 years with my parents about this. Well,
Yeah.
because yeah, because this wasn't like, it's not common, of course, and especially in 2009, nobody knew what coaching is, at least in my part of the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
So like, so you were giving up a career and you were good at it for what? For a very uncertain path. Um, and they had, at the beginning I was just thinking that, oh, this is my battle and I have to fight it and stuff and I have to do this. And I was like really, very very, I don't know how to explain
uh,
that, but
uh,
I was like,
Pushy, aggressive, you were
yeah,
fighting for
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really fighting for it. And then when I like, when time goes by, you just understand where they're coming from, so you kind of accept how they feel. And they started accepting that I'm, I'm quite different, like by time,
Mm-mm.
and they actually started encouraging me to do whatever I want,
Wow.
for just for the sake of just being happy, because they saw me like, having like a very long and, I would say, challenging path. And
Mm.
they just wanted me to settle somewhere.
Wow.
I said they want, yeah, but it took quite a while for that to change. But I would say that they're just like any traditional parents, and in any part of the world. I have friends who are Indians who have the same stories exactly with their
Yeah.
parents and other places, and it's kind of the, like, it's, I think I wouldn't be. It took me time to understand that it's fine to accept that your parents love you and they will be worried about you, no
Mm.
matter, like, even if you are 50 or 60 or 100, they will still be worried. So that's,
Right, right. Well, what I
I would
love
just
about what
accept
you're
that.
saying is
Yeah.
like, even though you are living in a totally different culture than the American culture, um, it's it's the same. Parents worry about their kids. They just want them to be safe and be happy. And if you can't be, that it's from some parents, they will risk safety for happiness, and some parents will
Yeah,
risk happiness for safety. It's like, no,
that's
just be
very true.
safe.
Oh my God. That's so true. And I think it really depends on the phase that they are passing by as well, because
Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, they are like
Um,
more
my friend
like they're,
Jules just popped on and said, doing it for the sake of being happy, so profoundly simple and yet so profoundly difficult for across the world. Just being happy is so challenging. Yeah. And then what happened? So how did it go? Being a life coach in Egypt in 2009 or in Dubai in 2009. I know that I started 10 years before you, 1999. And I remember meeting people in my own California place, which is the most progressive. And I said, "Oh, I'm a coach." At that time, they looked at me and they go, "Soccer?"
Okay, that's interesting. Well, no one understood what it means here either. Like, and the issue was because it's very difficult to explain it. I don't know. I felt like
It
it's
still
very
is.
difficult. You're like, and the thing is here, like for example, if someone wants help here, they would go to a psychiatrist or something. At that time, like now, people know what a coach is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that time, they would just go to someone, speak to someone, and they would expect that person to either tell them what to do or give them medicine or something, you know. So the fact that when you explain what coaching is and you say that you're not going to tell them what to do, so, so what's the point, you know? So
That's
it's
true,
really
right? I I have to take a sidebar a second on this one. It's true, and I feel responsible for that because I know that you met me when I was one of your trainer in how to become a life coach, and in
interesting.
that school at that time they did teach you to say that that I'm not going to tell you what to do. Uh,
Yeah,
but I'm going to help you do what you want to do. That is
yeah,
actually very true and the core essence of that. However, when it comes to marketing, you do have to talk
yeah,
about you do have to talk about I'm going to help you solve this problem in your life, right? So you see me now with banners like, a relationship coach. I help you save your marriage,
yeah,
or I help you date again and create a new life for yourself. So that has to be the doorway. And it got a little confused for us as we were learning to talk to the world. And it was such a complicated thing to be a life coach in the world. People
yeah,
still, yeah. And my brother used to say, why would I need a coach? They're just going to tell me the obvious anyway.
yeah.
so so here you are in Egypt, in Dubai, trying to say to people with. I remember too. The Some of our classmates had like, what is that headdress called from the Saudi? Yours is nice and open, and but in Dubai they had those headdress where I learned that if they're
Oh,
interested, yeah, if they're interested
the
in you, they
one
open it. No, for men, the men that wears
for men.
the headscarf,
Oh,
the nationals.
the nationals. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this one.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, with that thing,
Okay.
and right, and
Yeah.
when they're so if you're listening, what I'm trying to say is, if you think of a Saudi Arabian man, he has that checkered red and white checkered scarf over his head,
Yeah.
kind of like a tablecloth. That's very very undiplomatic of me to use it that way. But anyway, and then when they're interested in you, they flip the flap and they're talking to you. And when they're done, they just close the flap and look the other way, and you pretty much are dismissed. And I just thought that was so fascinating when this one class I was
Really?
teaching over there. Yes.
That's
Like, oh, is that a
I
signal?
never recognized that. I've
Wow.
never recognized that.
Yeah.
Oh
I
God,
think it was
that's
I think
interesting.
it was a class in the corporate world, corporate in Dubai, and these were really high up managers, and they had to take a coaching class to talk to their employee to develop themselves as a leader. So that's what they came in the room with, like they would have a newspaper, and then they're reading the newspaper. And if you and I watch them, the people who are in lower rank come and talk to them. They really had to be tiptoeing over, and then the
Oh
guy
yeah.
would put down his newspaper, look at them, say something, and then close the flap and look at the newspaper again. Meanwhile, that person is still sitting there looking at them, and I just thought, oh, this is going to be a fun class for me to teach.
And That's, that's very interesting because I've worked with so many locals. When I used to work on freelance basis, you know, like how I started. because I went to Dubai after like 2009, like right after the world crisis. So there weren't any full-time jobs as a coach. So I
Yeah.
started working on freelance basis, and I worked with so many governments, like
Mm.
government entities, and people were really nice. I don't, to be honest, I haven't recognized that move. I didn't even know that this means something at all.
Maybe I
I
was
just,
lucky. I got the special treatment.
oh, sorry.
No worry. I was trying to like, is this normal? And then I had to pay attention. So like when I was talking to them, and if the flaps are open, that means they're still receiving. And if they close it, that means pretty much. I mean, it's very subtle, right? It's just a quick flap thing. It's not like they're not gonna like take it and cover their face with it. It's a man's
Yeah.
world. Anyway, back to you. So so what do you find challenging right now in your life?
Okay, interesting question. I think then I think the next step in general, like when it comes to career to begin with, because I've been working on freelance basis in the UAE for 10 years. I really loved it there. But at the same time, like when I moved back with my family here, I moved in 2000, like right before the corona.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking whether I would go back or stay here or go to another place or,
Mm.
and I started also recognizing something that I started refining my vision because I've tried, you know, to do lots of things and I've done a lot of jobs that are very different from each other. So I was just thinking that what would be the best thing for me? Like one of the things I've recognized, there was this lady, I don't know if you've heard of her. Her name is Laura Berman Ford Gang. She's a coach in the US, by the way.
Yeah, I heard of her.
Yeah, she has a nice book. It's called Now What?
Yeah.
30 Days to a New Life Direction. So anyway, so she was saying that everyone or every human being has like a yolk and a shell, like that, like the egg. You have the yolk and the shell. So the yolk
Uh-huh.
is your essence as a human being and who you are, and the shell is the different roles that you play in your lifetime. So you don't have
Mhm.
to do the same thing for your entire life as long as you're expressing your yolk. That's fine. So I've been actually thinking about what my yoke is, and one of the things I've recognized is that my yoke is, I thought it's self development and things like that, but self development is just a part of it. It's about beauty,
Mm.
and when I say beauty, it's about just revealing the beauty in the world
Mm.
and inside human beings. Like I like to see something beautiful inside someone and show that person that they're good and their life is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And I also like the physical beauty. I really love colors and my
Mm.
eyes get really happy with with anything that looks pleasant. Um so I've been just thinking about this. How can I express that um, beauty through something that I would do? It doesn't necessarily have to be corporate training like what I've been always doing. Um, could be something different. I don't know what it is exactly. So it's a bit this. I think this is a bit of a challenge that I don't. I have that pressure in my mind. I don't want to lose time, because I've been thinking for so long. So I think just figuring out the
Well,
direction
you know,
would be.
that's funny that you said that because that is the essence of you. Like I when I think of you, the first word that I think of is beauty. Beauty
Oh,
outside, beauty from the inside, beauty in how you speak, beauty in everything that you do. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't realize is that whatever it is that they're hungry for, they already have it. And that's what they are exuding, right? So honey, you come with beauty. You walk in the door beautiful and beauty. Like it's not just outside beauty, it's all of you. So I already know that you're already doing that. Like you bring beauty to the world. This is who you are. Did you know that?
Oh, that's good
And
to hear.
in yeah, and in essence, it doesn't matter
Uh,
what you do for money, you're already doing it with beauty. And I think if you know that and empower that and really stand in that, and allow that to get even bigger, it's going to rock your world.
oh, oh, as if I wanted to just hear those few words. Because I've always been thinking that I need to find something, which is it's pretty interesting that, yeah, actually I was just reflecting on a similar idea yesterday. We had a family gathering on iftar here. Ramadan, how it is. We fast until
Not much.
sunset.
I just hear the
Um,
words, but I don't really know what that's like.
oh, really? Okay, so Ramadan is the month where the Quran was revealed. So it's like a holy month for the Muslims. Yeah. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so so what we do is that we fast from sunrise to sunset. And the whole idea of it is just to self-manage and to be more patient and all of these things. So on iftar time, most people they gather to eat together or something. Like it's a
Mm.
kind of a family time and stuff. So we had our family over yesterday, and I was just thinking that I just want, like, I don't have to wait for a job to let me, express myself in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what I did, I discovered during the Corona times that I like to cook, though I've
Yeah.
never cooked in my life.
Yeah.
So it was pretty interesting. I made like a Nutella crepe for them with like
Yeah.
chocolate sauce and
Mm-hmm.
ice cream and stuff, and
Yeah.
and they actually really really loved it. And like the presentation of it, I put some strawberries and stuff, and I felt really happy. I don't, though this is something that's
Yes.
like pretty simple,
Yeah.
but I'm surprised at how much happiness it brought to me. Like seeing them being happy with the like how the plate looks like or whatever, and so it tastes good as well. So it was nice. So I thought like maybe perhaps there are the simplest acts that one can do on a day-to-day basis can help you just be happy
Yes.
with wherever you are in life until you figure out what the next step is. So you wouldn't be like
Yes,
pressure
yes,
thinking
yes,
about this
yes,
all the
yes,
time,
yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think we just got to the heart of this conversation. Like, whenever I do these conversations, I never know what is the real meaning of it, but until it landed, and you just named it. For those who are listening, I think the message here that I want you to take away is that whatever it is that you're hungering for, most likely you already have it in you, and you're just waiting for you think you're waiting for the right place to put it out there in the world. But just be you in your most beautiful self. Whatever you do, just allow beauty to guide you. That's going to attract people and request and desire, and it's going to help shape you. It's so funny because last year we got rid of our house. Not last year, before COVID. So 2 years ago. Oh my God, things go by so fast now. 2 years ago, we let go of our homestead. Like we don't have a house anymore. And when we did that, uh, we live in a van and we drive around the country now. But when we did that,
Fun.
I had to get rid of all sorts of stuff. I had to get rid of all memories and all that stuff because they're like bins and bins of cards and things that I kept. So what I was reading through before, it was like, oh my God, 25, 30 years ago, even in high school, like my yearbook picture in high school was the same Mavu who is here today, flying around the world, making a difference and all that stuff. It was the same person, the same thing that was important to me then is the same thing that's important to me now. Can you believe it? It was so cool to look back and saw that and said, oh, yes, I needed take to go to school and become a coach. I needed to put in a lot of hours and all that stuff. But the essence of me, I was always helpful. People always had come to me to ask for advice or to ask for things and etc. etc. And the appreciations and all that stuff. So, honey, you are beauty. Amen, sister. Just go and bring your beauty to the world. The same thing, like when I added you to my Bold Brave Women group and I added your pictures, I don't know if you noticed, but your picture got the most people commented on. People were like fascinated because your beauty just draw us in. Can't help it. That's
Oh.
just who you are. You already are doing you in the world.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, that's good to hear. But I was just I think what the real challenge for me is I feel like life is quite short and I want to give more, like all the time I feel
Yeah.
this way. Like um I want to, like, if I can give more, like, why not,
Yeah, yeah.
so
I
yeah.
think that's I think that is something that is universal. I think so many people are hungering to give more without losing themselves, but they just so
Yeah.
want to be meaningful, from men to women. This is not just a women thing either. And I do see that around the world. It's like people are underutilized, under like they don't get to give themselves enough. I wonder if all of us just whatever it is that is special and important to us, if we can just crank it up 1% and we all just nothing else change but just us. If we just put in 1 extra% in, it's gonna just make our world so much more different and so much more beautiful. And then everyone else will um will follow suit and you'll see the ripple effect. So I totally support you, and I can't wait to see what other beautiful things that you bring to your world. And thank you so much for bringing your beauty to our world, to my world, and being here today. I know it was a little scary at first, but it's just so gorgeous
Yeah.
and beautiful to have your spirit with us and your wisdom to share. So
Oh,
thank you for being
thank
here.
you, May. Thank you, May. Well, actually, something, just I wanted to tell you that I remember when, since we met at City Eye, what I really, really liked about you is that you really have a very
No.
peaceful spirit. I feel liberated, like thinking about you.
Ah, thank
I feel
you.
like you have that, really, like that's honestly how, like, the vibe that I get whenever I think about you. So that's so lovely.
That's so awesome. Thank you. I didn't realize it, but freedom and liberation is something that is really important to me. And as I look back, I'm like, oh, of course it is, right? I escape out of Vietnam. I escape out of corporate America. I escape out of the marriage institution. I free myself up from this thing. And then I free myself up from owning a house and all of that debt and everything. So I free myself up from debt also. So it's just kind of like, oh, interesting. So freedom and liberation is my thing, and wherever realize now that that's just what I do and how I live in the world. So I can't wait until we are in the same place at the same time with each other, so I
Oh,
can bask in your beauty and you can ride my freedom train and we just go have a lot of fun together.
nice. That would be awesome.
Awesome. And thank you to my loyal fan Patty Mays. She jumped on all these calls. I wish I could add you to this, Patty, sometimes. But anyway, maybe I'll have a my own episode with Patty Mays and talk about her bold brave journey in this world. Thank you so much, Heba, for being here with us, and thank you to everyone who's listening near and far. We are broadcasting on YouTube, we broadcast in Facebook in our private group, and also on Spotify. So look for Bold Brave Women conversations. We're so excited to bring. I'm so excited to bring to you amazing women around the world and their own bold and brave journey. This is Mayvu signing off. See you next time on Bold Brave Women. Bye.